What's up, y'all? Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another edition of the Brothers of Legacy. AJ, see I'm live. Where we don't stand out, we stand up. And I am your host, your man, your brother, your uncle, A.D. Walker. And thank you, my podcast people, for listening. We are growing steadily. I need more. So make sure you share it out as you're listening to the podcast. Make sure you share it out and be a part of this. So I definitely appreciate you. What I didn't do, let's do this real fast while you guys are rocking with me. So I pray everyone's having an amazing day. And like I said, like you said several times, this is mental health month. May is mental health month. Everything of importance has a month of its own. So mental health month, and we are continuing our conversation, having the tough conversations about mental health and things of that nature. So it is very important to be focused and part. Let's see. I think some of my peeps probably didn't know. Let's see. So I appreciate you guys rocking with us. Pocket. So be patient with me. I'm sharing something real fast because I messed up, guys. I did not add YouTube. So there's a little bit of a lag in some of my folks coming in because most of my early folks coming through YouTube. So let me do this. All right, do that. Here, and bam. All right, let's go. Boom. All right, we're in the building. All right, let's go. Send it. All right, bam. All right. Oh man, I totally messed it up. There you go. What's up, sports card lady? Good morning. All my peeps is coming in. It took a minute. And Facebook don't have a lot of love for us, so I expect there to be a lag. So thank you for coming through. Make sure you share. Sharing is caring. No problem, Cheryl. Sharing is caring. So today we're discussing building honest relationships. Lisa in the building. Good morning to you. I know you're looking for the notification. I didn't I put the wrong destination. So building honest relationships. Miss Keita in the building. Good morning. So today we're going to discuss building honest relationship. Hey, Mama Corey, it's like everybody's strolling in. They saw the doors open, like, oh, the door's open. So we're going to dig into that. And if you have not joined our text community, make sure you do so. Join our community at text LWN to 84576. Text LWN to 84576. Make sure you are part of this community and all the things that are happening and the changes that are happening within Brothers of Legacy, Sisters of Legacy, Purposeful Family, and other things that we are connected to. Success Simplified as well. If you've not checked that podcast out, make sure you do so. Success Simplified. It's just me. Because I have some stuff I wanted to share. So make sure you be a part of that. So like today, we're going to discuss building honest relationships. We've been kind of in this mental health space for the past week. And I believe it's important that men discuss, what's happening within us, because a lot of times we tend to hold stuff. And our fear of sharing comes from, either mistrust or someone's abused our trust, where we share something and it comes back to us, and you're kind of hurt and you hold on to that hurt. It's like, I'll never share again. And the fact that, sometimes it's just formulating how we feel, or is it relevant? Because you go through that as well. Like, man, are my feelings really relevant, or am I just complaining and whining like a baby? And you go through that through your head. And what I'm sharing really matter? Is it making a difference? Do they really care to hear that? When someone asks, how you doing? Do they really mean how you doing? Or it's just something to say? We get into that, and it's funny. It's like, hey, how's everything going? And I've had people say, do you really want to know how's everything going? Or you just want me to say all is well? And I'm like, depending on the setting, like, okay, I got a minute. Let's chat, and we have to be honest. Are you honest with the relationships you have? Are you honest about how you feel with other people? Because there's a sense of vulnerability that we don't want to expose. There's a sense of openness, and transparency that you say things and you worry, like, man, this that I'm sharing, what's the effect? This that I'm sharing, how are they taking this information in? Have you ever overshared or felt like you overshared? You're like, man, I shouldn't have said so much. Man, I shouldn't have said all that to them, and it's a worry that either it's going to come back to you, or just they're going to look at you differently. That's a big one right there. Looking at you differently, and not really processing the information, or just not really understanding what you're saying, and you go through all these things in your head and you're like, man, I got too comfortable. I shouldn't have shared so much, but it had to come out, some of our issues as men, sometimes just talking about it. Sometimes we just got to talk it through. And like I said, we talked about yesterday, a lot of times with therapy is just talking it out. They just ask the questions that you never asked yourself before, that you never delve into, like a great interview when people ask questions. It's like, man, I never thought about it like that. This is how I felt. Man, I never saw it like that. This is how I felt. So it's definitely a journey, to discovering yourself. Especially if you grew up where you were taught not to share, not to cry, be tough with everything. You learn to hold things in. You learn to hold certain things in unless you have to say something. So today I really want to dig into building honest relationships. What does it look like? How do we get there? And that building honest relationships goes into not only our marriages or relationships like that, but our friendships. How do you build an honest relationship? And trust. I don't have all the answers, but we're going to explore it. We're going to talk about it. And this is just the beginning of some amazing conversation. All right. So what I need you to do right now is tag somebody, share this broadcast, spam everybody in your inbox. Tell them, look, this conversation right here is going to change your life. Your life. Y-O, your life. But I need you to share it. We can't grow unless you share. We can't change this world unless you have these conversations, unless you share. All right. So sharing is always caring. We'll be right back.
I didn't want to catch that. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. Good morning, everybody.
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Whether you're trying to up your production or just go live, StreamYard is the place to be. go to bit.ly/StreamYard BOL. This episode is also brought to you by Flocknote. Start your free text community now at bit.ly free text now. That's bit.ly free text now.
Boom. All right, guys. So right now, me, it may just be me today. We'll see what goes down or how this happens. Let's do this. Hold on one second. Let's do that. Bam. All right. So, and we're gonna just talk. And any of my brothers and sisters, if you got any questions, let's drum this conversation up. If you have any questions for men, throw that in there as well. Let's see. All right. So the first thing I want to kind of cover in this journey of building honest relationships, right? So the first thing is expressing our desires from our relationships, right? A lot of times, you know, when it comes to our marriages and things of that nature, those kind of relationships, it's about setting expectations, right? And Pastor talks about that quite a bit. Hey, Kalinda, great morning to you. Setting expectations. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. You show up just like the police, right on time. Uh-oh. So yeah, so we're talking about building honest relationships. And like I said, the first thing I want to kind of cover is expressing our desires from our relationships. You know, whether your expectations and Pastor's kind of I'll say the first one, when me and my wife were trying to, well, in the process of rebuilding us, you know, that was the first thing. And he gave a great example of just taking out the garbage, which was like a really good way. And we had a little, you know, go back and forth. He's like, look, you just taking out the garbage right there. It's just enough to start something. Oh, hey, good morning, Willette. So yeah, it's about, so expressing our desires from our relationships. You know, are we setting expectations, not only with our spouse, but even with our friends? You know, what is our desires in our relationship? You know, are we looking just to share from one another, use each other for a particular gifting? What are the boundaries? Because let's think about work sometimes. If you're working in an office or you're working in any kind of space, you have that relationship based on work. Our connection is this job, you know, because a lot of times you leave the job like, yeah, I'm gonna call you. you don't ever call them because it's like, you know, we have a work relationship, you know, like Pastor works in IT. We have this IT language that we discuss. Yeah, you know, and we talk about the boss. You know, did you see Susie see what she was wearing? You know, and we have that, but outside of the office and connection to this company, there's not much, you know, there's not much. So it's expressing our desire. So let me ask you, Pastor. So when you're building a relationship, right, with others, are there ways that you find yourself expressing your expectation, you know, not like this is just who we are, but kind of understanding the relationship that you have with someone? Like you said, like we always talk about the confidant, the constituent, you know, kind of knowing where they're at and kind of talking to them based on the category you place them. Do you ever express your desire for your relationship where you want it to be? Like even if you're in a situation like, man, I'm really looking for us to be friends, you know, like I really want us to get closer, you know, things of that nature. Hey, good morning, Deborah. Hey, Sam.
Everything depends on, good morning, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It's a very, very broad question because it's always going to be based on the type of relationship, how the relationship was established. Right. You come into, sometimes I go into a relationship having an expectation just based on how I'm being introduced to that person.
Right.
right? See, when I meet someone at work, it's different than meeting somebody at a club,
Right.
meeting somebody at a family reunion, meeting somebody at church. You know, everywhere you meet, everywhere you encounter people, sets a foundation for a relationship establishment.
Right.
Right. So there are many, many factors. That's why when you first meet people, the best thing you can be is genuine, authentic.
Right.
Right. But when you talk about more intimate relationships, when you talk about taking relationships to the next level, I think that good morning, Samantha.
I said, wait, I need my own separate coin. There you go, Sam. There you go. Can the man get his thought out? Can the man get?
She ain't even playing. She ain't even playing. So so when you talk about honest relationships, are we talking about our intimate relationships? Are we talking about our significant other? Because if we're talking about that, then we can deal with that.
Yeah,
right?
It's more of a, and I opened it up for kind of both, but the like the personal relationships, the intimate, I get that's pretty standard, because your goal is, especially if you're thinking marriage or in marriage, this is a lifetime, so there needs to be you need to know my desires, but the personal relationships, the friendships, having understanding of why are we here, like why are we connected.
Yeah. I've always recognized that any relationship you have with someone, you have to take into account that this person has relationships with other people.
Right. Okay.
And you've just been added and you've been inserted to something that exists already.
Right.
A family that exists already.
Right.
And so what is your role?
Right. Okay.
That's kind of the way that I look at it. I recognize that I'm coming into something that I don't know anything about. And if I'm curious to find out more, then we do that, and time goes on. And that's where it becomes the basic principles, the fundamentals of building relationship. Just be nice, be friendly, be honest, because I don't know, like when I meet someone, I have no idea where it's going.
Right.
I met you at church many years ago. I didn't know you from a hole in the ground. Right. And you fast forward all these years later, who'd have thought that all these years later, we'd be where we are.
Right.
But it was an evolution.
Right.
It was an evolution, and there were gaps. We talked, we didn't talk. We talked, we didn't talk.
Yeah.
Things happened, whatever the case, we worked together, all of that kind of stuff. But there was a consistent pattern of behavior. And what we found is that through time, we developed chemistry.
Yeah, definitely.
So if you, and so I think, I go into any relationship. What?
I'm gonna need you to log off.
She needs to sign off and just. So I think that, neither one of us are today who we were when we first met.
Right. That's true.
We're both better.
Yeah, definitely.
So through our relationship, we have both gotten better.
Right.
Hence, iron sharpens iron.
Right.
So I look. That's how I look at any relationship. I look at whenever I meet someone, I always treat them like I've met a friend for life.
Right.
That's how I treat people. When I meet you, I've just met a friend for life. And if I go in that way, time will tell whether or not that's the case. But if I go in with that mindset, then I don't think I can do wrong. Even if something wrong happens, it's okay because you came in the right way. It goes back to that old adage, you can be anybody, you can pretend to be anybody you want to be for a good 90 days.
Right.
But after that, you're going to start seeing some signs of behavior. Right. And it's going to have an impact on relationship. So I say, make sure that you know that whoever you're establishing a friendship or relationship with, they have relationships with other people. You've just been inserted into something that exists already. So it's not all about you.
Right.
So be friendly, be open, be honest. and then you see what happens. Now that's just straight friendship connection.
Right. Yes.
You know.
Yeah, definitely. Is it all, Pastor? I see you. Oh, my extended family, not friends. Oh.
Yeah, we're not even extended family. We just family.
Right. Oh, I don't know. Like when you said that, I had to think about that. Like, you know, when you meet somebody, you're meeting someone that could be a friend for life, or you know, you go into it with that mindset. I guess, unfortunately, I sometimes come in a little more protective. You know, like, all right, you cool, yeah,
Yeah.
You know, I will say I don't think I go in with waiting for the shoe to drop. Like I'm waiting for you to do me wrong. I'm waiting for, you know, like I don't at least do that. I don't have that mindset. Hey, Mark, good morning. I said right, stand corrected. I go in with the mindset of, you know,
I'll be right back. It's Bishop.
Yeah, go ahead. What I have in this season, and not, you know, the friend for life thing, because that's I want it to be like, I will say that's kind of how I used to when I would join a church. Like I'm gonna be here forever, like, you know, so I can long think this, you know, but over time it's like, well, we'll see. If you join a church and you're like, well, we'll see how this relationship develops. I think that's more me. Like when I connect with somebody, I say, well, let's see how this develops and see what it becomes. You know, I think it just protects me from getting hurt or something going awry, you know, and at least if it goes awry, it's like, well, you know, I've only had him in this category. Yeah, so you know, change is gonna come. but I try to be optimistic about it. I try to be optimistic about it and hoping that, you know, it'll get better. Yeah, like a trial period, in a sense. It's, I think with it though, in a trial period, I guess it almost is like I give you full access. We have the conversations. And like Pastor said too, you showed me something different. You know, but I will say I'm connected with someone, you know, my wife, who is almost like a radar and very what's that word? Like discerning, you know. And she can kind of, sometimes she's like, I can't put my finger on it, but something's off. That, you know, that'd be a thing. Like, I can't put my finger on it, but something is off, you know. And it's not like to definitely just cut them off, but just, you know, before you hand them the keys to the car, just, you know, just kind of watch, just be mindful, you know. So it's crazy how, you know, people that God put you in your life that help you with those things. But let me just read. I think Kalinda put interesting comment. She said, our relationships end is exactly the same way it starts. If you build a relationship with lies, jealousy, and mistrust. For example, if I got into a relationship with a dude and he's committing adultery with me when he's already married, he leaves me for another woman. That is his MO. Right. Yeah. You have to be mindful. Because if someone, what did it say? If someone's always coming to you talk about other people, they obviously got to talk about you to other people, you know. So you got to watch those motives as well. You know, how they treat you, you know, whatever information they share with you is what they're sharing with other people. So know that this is who they are. And when they show you who they are, believe them. So yeah, it definitely, knowing the desires, knowing what you want to encounter, knowing what you're trying to build, knowing what you're trying to develop. And like I started off with, you know, some relationships start off at work and they're work relationships. And you may want them to be friendships outside of work, but sometimes, you know, at work, we have work clothes on. We're different people, you know, and different by saying, you know, I may be a little more controlled. My language is a little more controlled because I'm at work. And, you know, it's understanding they may be different outside of work. And that's going into the honesty of who you are. You know, are you honest of who you are all the time? And then you have an understanding of who you're dealing with. Let's see. All right, Gitson, I'm looking for you to be on this other side, brother. but I know. It's having, so the next thing I kind of want to get into, especially about being honest and transparent, is being honest and transparent about your feelings. That's key, right? So if you're building a friendship, and a lot of this, is more of the personal relationship as opposed to just the intimate, because we know what we should be doing in the intimate relationships, being transparent, being honest about how you're feeling, about, what's going on, and being able to formulate that. It helps build a better relationship. It helps all around. But doing that in the friendship space, when you have your personal relationships, is a key. And most of the time, that transparency and honesty is when that friend of yours, associate, does something that bothers you, and having that conversation, I think can be one of the most challenging things, only because, for me, you're like, is it worth it? Or should I just leave this relationship alone? Is it worth having this conversation? Or should I just let this relationship die? Especially do something that kind of caught you off guard, and maybe they've been showing you, but you get caught off guard. Should I say something? Because when you say something, someone might double down on the hurt. Like, whatever, it is what it is. It's like now I'm angry. Where I was just a little hurt. Now I'm pissed because you just not only not apologize, but you just totally disregarded how I'm feeling. Oh, and do just that. He said, "Oh, you just inspired me to reach out and do just that. Have a convo." Definitely. When something happens, when feelings get hurt, it doubles down on the hurt. And I'm just being real, and it's like, I don't mean to feed you an excuse not to do it, but it's just, that's the fear of going to somebody, especially that's not in a intimate relationship. You're intimate. The expectation is they're not gonna, even if they don't, I don't really see it that way, but I apologize for hurting you. That's like the standard. Man, I didn't realize what I said would make you feel like that. He said, I'm not to hold my tongue. Unfortunately, you're gonna hear it, whether you want to or not. Right. But, and instead of, because you might be letting go of a relationship that can blossom into something greater, into a partnership. It could be anything, you never know what door this connection may open up to, and it's just, and you never know where they may help you in life. They're a great person. They just had a moment, or something they didn't realize. And then we have hangups on things and they don't realize, so what they thought was just a little jokey joke, cut you to the core. I said, worst thing you can do is disregard what bothers me. Yes. I know. That is the hardest. That is the hardest, especially after I express it, And I'm keep it real. I've, even in my relationship with Sam, I've had to learn to really listen, because sometimes, what bothers her may not bother me, but I gotta hear and understand, And so that goes even with the friendships. I've had situations like that, and I didn't really think about it, and I was the offender. So it's definitely a journey in understanding your relationship and understanding what you're trying to build, because you want friends. It's you don't want to travel this life as a loner. You don't want to travel this thing alone. You want other people you can confide to. You want people that you can talk to. You want those that just will have a listening ear. So you want to have friends around you. And I'm gonna keep it real. I felt like, I was just kind of anti-friend for so long, but I find it's very, 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 very important for everybody. and that transparency and that honesty about how you're feeling, what you're dealing with, what you're going through, and being able to conversate about it. Just a real quick pause. Where's it at? Zoom call lady who was Cheryl asked me, how do I share on YouTube, just in case anybody struggling with the same thing. There you go. She said, I try to be optimistic in the beginning and trust until I see otherwise. I find most folks are good natured. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So when I say share, if you're on YouTube, you can share to your Facebook page, because that's probably the best way for someone to be able to click a link, just hit share, copy, and just place it on your Facebook page, and people may have an opportunity to click it. So that's the best way to share it. So I definitely recommend that. Everybody in the space, in the space. Dwayne Goodson in the building. Great morning to you, sir.
What up, bro? What up?
So being transparent and honest. Or do you want to tackle that first question? I'll be able to go back. Expressing our desires from our relationships. So we can definitely tackle that. But being transparent and honest with your friends. Have you ever been hurt or hurt others and had to have that conversation with your friends?
That's where that's a weakness of mine.
Okay.
When it comes to people who hurt me,
yes,
I'm an avoider. I just forget you existed. Or
you said when it comes to people who hurt you, you do what, Dwayne?
I disappear.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, we good.
Wow.
I don't talk about you. I ain't got no beef with you.
Right. It's done.
I ain't got no ill intent towards you. We good though. I'm good on you. And
do you say anything? Because like I might say something and not realize I hurt you.
No, because in my mind at that point,
right,
I already see that the way I know how I am, and there's very little chance for reconciliation for us being who we used to be.
Right.
So I'm just like, I'm good. And if you start wondering why I ain't called, and then you ask, I'm like, bro, for real? Oh, so you didn't do A, B, or C? You didn't. So I hold it until they make it out of something that, hey, you tripping. Hey, what's wrong with you? You changed. No, okay. I was responding to what you gave me. So I cut them loose, and I don't say nothing.
Gotcha. What were you saying, Pastor?
Good morning, Mother Fulton. God bless you. Some of the strongest relationships are birthed out of the resolution of a conflict.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the best thing that could ever happen is a confrontation in a relationship. Why? Because it resets expectations.
Right. Right.
Right. My wife and I are closer than we have ever been because we got to a point where I was going to go one way and she was going to go another. Right. And we had to fight that thing out. Right.
Right.
But what it did was it pulled the scales off. Right. And it allowed us to be real with each other. And a lot of times that happens in relationships with people. You know, you can't, sometimes people don't know they're hurting you.
Right.
And if you never say anything, the relationship dissolves. I'm not saying that that's the case like with you, Dwayne. Right. I'm saying that, you know, for somebody out there that might be listening, you know, we cut somebody off too soon.
Right.
You know, it's the difference between, you know, me leaving you alone for stepping on my foot versus me leaving you alone for breaking my leg.
Right.
Facts.
Right. And I that's why actually a lot of people are
absolutely.
A lot of people lose because they are conflict avoiders.
Right.
They absolutely handle conflict or confrontations, and so their world is very small because of that. So it works both ways. I think that you know, that it still goes back to that old adage. I believe everything you say till you show me different.
Right.
And when you show me different, don't get mad at me because I started to treat you different.
Right.
You know, but I do think that honesty is the best policy. You know, I don't have a problem saying and here's the thing, it depends on the value that you put in the relationship also.
Right.
Fact.
Okay.
Big fact.
Right. If you hurt me, but I value our relationship,
Right.
then I'm going to say something to you. But if I don't value the relationship, miss me. I see you when I see you.
And that's exactly, you said, you explained how I feel, because I'm an expressive person. I talk all the time. And all you gotta do is listen to me and know that something's not. So the way I do it is, I'm like, hey, yo, you could have said that differently. Next week,
Right.
hey, your mouth getting real reckless lately. The next month, hey, bro, come on now. We'd have had this conversation. After that,
Right.
where Goody went?
Right.
Where Dwayne at? Like and that's the thing.
What's up,
We
Cole?
got to get to a point where we pay attention,
Right.
because not everybody knows how to say what hurts, where it hurts, and why you are hurting them.
Right.
But if you know them and you pay attention, they're giving off something that something's not right. That there's a hesitation when they talk to you. There's an attitude in the air. There's the dismissive looks and the nonverbal body language. The question is, are we listening? Because sometimes people are talking and we don't hear it until they're like, I'm good on you.
Right.
And then you're like, well, why you ain't say nothing? Well, I've been saying something. You just ain't been paying attention.
Mm-hmm.
And then some people are more direct. Some people, hey, look, check it out. Look, this can't happen. You can't be this and think we're gonna. After the first time you get hurt, the average person, they remember that. Right. It's kind of like your mama. Don't stick your hand on that stove. It's hot.
Right.
Yeah. Okay, mom. I gotta check this out for myself.
Right.
And then they think twice about the next time they come around a lit stove.
True.
Same thing in relationships. People will tell you, you'll hear brothers in legacy telling you about how they messed up and how they got it right and how they're getting it right and how they're still improving.
Right.
But you just see a stove that ain't burnt you yet. And then when you get burned, it's like, man, that old gray haired dude I should have listened to it. Talk about me passing out you.
He said, Sam said, I go off a vibe. When I meet you, we click. I'm all in, but if the energy is shaky, you get the side eye. As she said, at first, I thought you said, I can't afford it, which is actually accurate. I can't afford this relationship anymore. Sam said, it takes some real connection to hurt me. So yes, I'm going to say something. And yeah, like as she said, we're afraid of conflict. He said, to your point, Dwayne, listening takes more effort than speaking, especially if they're hurt. Definitely.
Mm-hmm.
He said some people I treat with a long handled spoon. Definitely. What's up, Terry? Let's see.
Terry.
They said, as for sticking the hand on the stove analogy, my father told me that when I was 4, I touched the hot stove and my father smiled.
I told you.
Go on, do it. Go on, do it. Not because I was hurt, but because I learned right. I learned the lesson the hard way. Right.
And your father smiled because he knew I'm never going to have to say this to him again.
Right.
You know?
Right. Said facts.
Yeah.
Said every new person in the stove that hasn't burned me yet.
No.
I was like, read this.
You're saying that it's inevitable that they're going to burn you.
You're going to get burned.
I like it though. I like it because it doesn't mean that it's inevitable that you're going to get burned. It means that the possibility and the potential to get burned is always there. And that's
but that means that you're never going to get close.
Right.
No. I'm just saying from another place. That's the thing about relationships. Putting yourself in any relationship, you're putting yourself up for being vulnerable and possibly being hurt. But guess what? If you don't put yourself in that position, you're never going to get
the mindset. Listen,
that I'm going to get burned.
I remember watching Good Times. And I remember when Janet Jackson was on Good Times.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
You
Right.
Talk about Penny. You were talking about
Penny. The
You were
iron.
Penny into this.
Right. And
Yeah,
I
she was so
never
funny.
had a problem with the iron until that episode of Good Times. After that episode of Good Times, I just assumed that every iron I came in contact with was
I'm gonna
hot.
get burned. Right.
Right?
Nice.
I assumed it was hot.
Right.
You know?
And look, I bet you if your wife first lady put an iron in your face right now, you
Right.
No, but see, that's the thing. You know, I've had to learn. It's not my expectation that you're going to hurt me.
Right.
Mhm.
That's between you and God.
Right.
I don't want to go into anything anticipating getting burned.
Right. Right. Right.
So I don't. So when I meet you, I don't want to even see you as a stove.
Right.
But can we talk reality? You cook a lot?
But here's my point. This is reality. The reality
Right.
is I don't want to do that.
Right.
Okay, but
Reality
even though
is
we don't
people
want
do
to do
it.
that, right?
People do
Even
it.
though we don't want to do that, when you cook,
Yeah, people
is
do
it
it.
possible for you to still get burnt even now after having the experience you had?
Yeah,
Okay. So
I've been burned.
right.
See,
But
that's my point. I love what you're saying because you're saying you don't want to put a focus on that, and I'm just saying that it's a reality that it kind of comes with it because even though I've been cooking for 30 years now, I still get burned every now and then, but it's not necessarily the type that's going to send me to the hospital to the ER and I got to get skin grafts. But it's just a reminder. You need to handle that with care. Oh, wait a minute. You did something wrong. So I guess I'm using the analogy to say that, yes, you can get burned. But usually when you get burned, you're doing something wrong. You see what I'm saying?
That story that you just shared about the stove, you said it won't be to the point where I have to go to the hospital and get skin grafts.
Right.
But every time you turn that stove on, that's a possibility.
Right.
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 And it has nothing to do with whether you do something right or whether you do something wrong. It has everything to do with accidents happen.
Right.
Okay.
It's the biscuit analogy.
But here's the point. The point is, I know that's a possibility because I know that's a stove.
Facts.
All right. But if I use that same analogy with every person that I come in contact with, I don't want to live my life treating people like a stove. That's what I'm saying. I want to treat people like people. Now, if you burn me, then I know where I stand with you. I know the value that you put on our relationship, and I can act differently.
Facts.
I can confront you about it, or I can change my behavior when it comes to you. There are many things that I can do, right? But what I'm saying is, I'm always going to be available for pain, for hurt when I meet you.
Right.
It's going to happen. Why? Because I want to treat people like I want to be treated.
Right. And I honestly I feel like the burn stove analogy is the reason why some folks don't get any friends. They no longer have friends because they I'm gonna get burned eventually. You know, so they limit their relationships to what they already have. I'm being honest.
No, you're absolutely right. Both of you, everything you're saying is absolutely right. All I'm saying is it's like just because you say one thing doesn't make the other three things false or not true. So everything you're saying is true. But here's the reality of a stove. At least for Americans, here's the reality of a stove.
Yeah.
I don't care how many times you get burnt. You ain't finna go out back and campfire nothing. You're going to get tired of sandwiches. The sandwich ain't going to be enough sometimes. You're going to want that stew. You're going to want something in the oven. You're going to want some fried chicken, something. But you're going to go back to that stove, all I'm saying. So for me, the stove represents like a relationship. All of these things are possible.
Back to that stove.
All these things are possible with the stove. You can get burnt. But if you do it right, if you learn how to do it the proper way, then you take that danger off the table. So all I'm saying is stoves and people are like this. When a person comes into a relationship and they're not ready for a relationship, they don't know how to handle a relationship, they've been broken and never been mended, and now are in a relationship, they're like a stove for a 5-year-old. That's what they become. Because now everything about how it works and how you operated it and how the principles supposed to work, you got a skewed vision of it, so you're going to use it wrong. You're supposed to cook something at 250 or medium, and you cooking it
now.
okay,
all right, better. Right there. I'm glad you went there, because what you're describing is improper intentions when it comes to the establishment of a relationship.
Right.
I can't treat a hot dog like I treat salmon.
Right.
Facts.
Right.
I don't want to meet you on a subway and ask for your hand in marriage. That's about coming in wrong. And that's why I say, you have to come in with a friendly spirit. The Bible says he that is to have friends must first show themselves friendly.
Right.
And what happens is, if I use the analogy, if I treat everybody like a stove, then I'm the one that's hot.
Right.
I'm going to cause more pain, because now I'm being careful. I'm being rigid with somebody that's wide open. Now I look like I have odd intentions.
Right.
Because I'm so guarded. Right. And Sam is going to give me the side eye. Because she met me and I'm treating her like a stove, and she's trying to figure out why I'm being all shaky. Because I'm afraid of getting burned. And so now she and I will never have a relationship because I came in wrong.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I got to come in saying either you're going to love me or hate me.
Right.
But what you're going to get is me.
Right. Yep.
Right. And then you decide. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then that's cool. I haven't lost anything because I hadn't gained anything.
Right.
But I can walk away knowing that I'm comfortable in my own skin.
You work that out, sir.
Okay.
You work that out.
I've had some comments, but he said, is it possible to be far too friendly? And what's good say on that? Or good thing? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like, to me, I don't like too friendly means, that's something that my wife said to me years ago when she didn't like the smile I gave when I introduced myself to some other woman. You're being too friendly. Right. But I believe that friendly is friendly. I don't think there are degrees of relationships,
right? But
I don't think there's degrees of being friendly.
Okay. I got you.
Hello, how are you? Hello, how are you doing is a universal statement. There's no depth to that.
No.
There can be a depth to my level of sincerity when I say it. Am I really interested in how your day is going?
Right.
You understand?
Right.
But the statement itself stands on its own.
Right.
Hi, how you doing today?
Cole said, I had a problem with single black mothers after that Penny Gets the Iron episode of Good Times. Let's see. As she said, handle relationships with care. As the saying is simple about hurt, no risk, and no reward, which is true. Linda said, I don't have time to put up with drama. Drama can only survive when there's an audience, so I let them do them, and I quit being the audience.
Right, that's good.
I'm treating people like stoves. Catch me outside. Let's see. That's so beautiful. Living past. I love that. Be all the way vulnerable with relationship and adjust accordingly. Yeah, definitely. Let's see. Sam says, absolutely, Pastor. I'm coming in like me. Love me or leave me alone.
And there's nothing. I love that.
Is that MC Light? Is that MC Light?
Love me or leave me alone. I think that's heavy. Let's see. He said John comes survive with the audience. He said finger snaps is so silly. He said I'm gonna say them all the way. Let me say this as well. Transparent honesty is one of the top essential parts of a healthy relationship. Yes, indeed.
Pastor made me. I don't know which one of y'all said it, but when y'all started talking about different types of meals, I was sitting there saying to myself, each one of us are stoves in some way, shape, or form. And when you're in a relationship, you put yourself in the hands of somebody else, right? Everybody's different dishes.
Right.
You ever fried eggs on high for 10 minutes?
Oh.
I haven't either, but I'm pretty sure it don't look good.
Right.
But there's some people out there that are treating their relationships like eggs being fried high on 10 minutes.
Right.
You ever
everybody,
cook grits
we all
3
have,
minutes?
Yeah.
Right.
You can
Some of y'all lumpy in your relationships because somebody didn't add enough water to the grits.
Right. Right.
I'm starting to get hungry, man.
Yeah. I think I got a little bit grits left. Oh, Sam said, what happened to the golden rule? Golden rule, treat people how you want to be treated. Why is that truly so hard? Indeed.
Because people are selfish.
Yeah, but standing on its own premise, it's not difficult. We are difficult.
Right.
That premise isn't difficult.
Right.
We're difficult because of the vestiges of our past that creep up on us and prevent us from living a liberated life.
Right.
I talked about that in Bible study last night. It's amazing how
good, sir.
Yeah. You can, the children of Israel were, after 400 years of slavery,
right,
were delivered from the hand of Pharaoh. And as soon as they hit the first obstacle, they were ready to go back into slavery.
Right. We had it good then, didn't we?
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing, and Dwayne, you said this about temperatures and dishes and all that. We all have the ability to live life at a certain degree. You can live 98.6, or you can live at 104,
right,
feverish,
right,
or you can live at 95, cold, right? But everyone lives life at a different temperature. That's what makes us unique, right? Relationships are the ability to find someone that's operating at the temperature that you're operating at, or they're operating at a temperature that you can tolerate.
Right, right, right,
right.
All relationships need to be. We said all relationships need to do a background resume before getting to involved. But you know what's so crazy? Like the unfortunate part of that is if you go back too far in my history, you'd be like, yeah, I ain't mess with you, dude. Like, but have you checked the list? Just the 5 years. Let's go 5. Just a couple of years. I'm good. I've gotten better.
Yeah, but you're talking about AD is a snapshot.
Yeah. Right.
You're talking about a Polaroid as opposed to a video.
Right.
So y'all making my analogy day easy when it comes to the stove, and now we're talking about foods. Look, everybody like hot dogs until they know how hot dogs are made. If I tell y'all and show y'all the breakdown of how you make a hot dog or a piece of bologna, some of y'all ain't never eaten hot dogs or bologna again.
Now, listen, I say that all the time, Dwayne. People love my personality and all that, but you don't know what got me here.
Right.
You get a snapshot of me 30 years ago, and I don't know. I don't know. A lot of people who saw me 30 years ago didn't see today coming.
Right.
Yeah, they see you labor over that meal of chitlins and pork shoulders and pig feet. And you got to taste it like a 5-course meal.
You lost me. You lost me.
Well, I can't either. That's why I said it. But as a kid, before I knew what it was, I loved them. But they tasted good. I remember them tasting good. I just ain't tasting them no more because I know what it is. But that's how people are. It's like,
get the membrane out.
Ooh, I like the way this tastes. Girl, you got something. You put your foot in these. Wait a minute.
Sean Rollins, consistency.
He been where?
Yes.
Consistency. Oh, I'm good on
him right here. This dude right here who put consistency. Sean Rollins. Sean Rollins today is the same guy that I met. I don't know how many years ago. He's gotten older. He's gotten wiser. But, he said consistency. Some people live life consistently inconsistent.
Right.
Right. Which is why their world never grows or expands.
Right.
But you put the right word out there, Sean Rollins, because you want to talk about a model of consistency. That dude right there.
Right.
The one thing that I love about him is that he has never changed.
Right.
And some people say, "Oh, you ain't never gonna change." For certain people, That is probably the best compliment
thing.
that you could ever give
Right.
somebody.
Wow.
That dude has never changed, and I would trade him for nothing in the world.
Right. He said,
Shout out Sean Rollins.
he said, I
Yeah.
was with you with the stove, but you lost me with the chitlins.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
because
you.
you ain't never had them before you knew what it was.
Oh, yeah. Let's make that clear. Sean Rollins is the same all the time until you put him at a card table.
Yeah, but guess what? Guess
He's
what?
consistent there too.
Right, and you always have him at the table. You know, look, if you believe that about him, why do you keep inviting him to the table? Because of who he is.
Listen, let me tell you something. So, real quick, 30-second story. I met Sean Rollins as Deacon Rollins, right? So, already the perception, Deacon Rollins. So, he came to one of our get-together probably the first time and was like, yeah, we're going to play some spades. And he come to the table, we're going to play spades? Okay, let's play some spades. You know, like he had never really played a lot. Like, and, you know, and if you ever meet Sean Rollins, he's like really together dude. Like, you know, so he don't look like that dude that can play some spades.
He don't look like
I'm gonna just keep it real.
He does not look that way.
He doesn't look like he represents the hood.
Right. I'm warning everybody now. That dude, he comes, he straight like, because when he was like, yeah, I was like, you play spades?
Putting him
yeah.
on blast. You put him on blast.
I'm let everybody know. I don't want nobody to get taken here. 3 spots you need to watch this dude at. The card table, at the pool table, and definitely on the golf course. Don't get taken. Don't get taken. It's right. And there's a wife,
Hey,
Dr. Rollins.
That right there is what I'm talking about. See that right there is what see, y'all just brought my whole conversation back full circle.
Man.
The dietitian had told y'all how to prepare the meal, but y'all on the stove trying to cook it like you want it, and it didn't come out right. See,
right? He said not hood, but the hustle is yes.
Yeah,
It's right there. It got me through college. Right. But
I don't know. I don't know who got the crown when it comes to pool though, Sean. I don't know, bro. I think I got you, man.
Right, got him there.
Remember?
me and Sean supposed to be partners when we playing AD and Sam. I still ain't forgot.
He said that the mystical sign. He says you're warm and AD. Right. Oh man, yes, Mrs. Cosign. Yes, he did. Yes. I mean, he's a great dude. He's a great dude, though. Yeah, just don't fall for the humble act.
Mama McCoy said she got something on the card game.
Oh man.
Hey, you see that AD? Mama McCoy said she got something on the card game.
Oh, she said, I'm looking for.
She coming, Sam.
I promise y'all don't want that smoke.
Oh man,
That's old school.
Hey, look,
that's old school.
Hey, Pastor, do your mama, when she get ready to cut, do she take her card and pick the card up in the middle of the table and flip it before she?
Yeah, listen. She come from the Bid Wiz days.
Oh wow, not Bid Wiz.
Yeah.
All right. Oh, let's see. All right. So we are coming to a close. I got so much more. And I'm gonna add to it because we got some more folks on tomorrow. So we're definitely talking about honesty, transparency, and discussing building honest relationships with others, friends. Right? He said, "Oh man, Mama Corey is a beast at the card table, Pastor."
I don't know. I was never allowed to watch her play.
Wow.
Yeah, that's back in the day when you couldn't hang around adults.
Grown folk in here. Go in there with kids.
Yeah. Right, going. Yep. when Kings was seen and not heard.
Yeah.
Well, you're talking to grown people.
Right. When grown folks start talking, you get the look like, really? Are you still in the room?
So AD, do your kids have grown people stories? Like every kid, all of my kids, 19 to 1. From 19 to 1, all of them. This is the story they got at some point in time. Yeah, that's what grown people do. No, that's what grown people go. You ain't grown, you can't go in there.
Right. He said, oh, no, yeah, right. Never allowed. Case closed. Couldn't watch it. All right. So we're going to get out of here. So tomorrow we're gonna dig further into this relationships and the brothers and all that. And this is one of the topics, willing to admit when we are wrong. So yeah, it's gonna get a little juicy.
I'm not gonna be I'm not gonna be around tomorrow. I got an appointment. Something just popped up on my calendar.
Wait, mama, what you need, mama? You didn't even come to Cali?
You got a flat tire. It took 45 minutes to drive out there.
My stomach hurt.
Man. Appreciate you, Mama Corey. All right. So we look forward to
AD,
what's up,
sir? Pastor throwing shade at me.
Uh-oh.
Did you hear what he just said?
What did he say?
He said his stomach hurt.
Oh yeah. Oh no, I don't think he knows.
He throwing shade.
Issues. Mess around with them cleanses.
Okay. It's that season. I got you.
All right. So you guys, make sure you join our community. Text LWN to 84576 so you will never miss a show. Text our community. Text LWN to 84576. LWN to 84576. Is this just about brothers tomorrow? I mean, we open for all conversation. Yeah. Oh no, no, it's about friends, relationships, period. That's why we got everybody in the house. So whatever you want to share, we definitely facilitate questions and comments like we always do. So yeah, no, it's not. It's about everybody. But we talk about us because we're here. So I can't speak on other perspectives other than my own. So definitely, yeah, chime in. As always, we love the interaction. And then it helps others. Sometimes people ask questions like, I was just thinking that, so it just grows our conversation. And, we're all about conversations that help change your world. It's helping our lives as well, because we're learning a lot from each other and from you guys.
And bring your family.
Yes, indeed. So tomorrow, same time, same channel. And like always, be safe. Know that we love you, but God loves you more. And we will see you in the AM. Peace out, guys.
I didn't want to catch that. Morning. Good morning. Welcome to another episode. Good morning. Good morning. What's up, everybody?
This episode is brought to you by StreamYard. Whether you're trying to up your production or just go live, StreamYard is the place to be. Go to bit.ly/.